going on, guys? Happy Wednesday. It is a beautiful night here, very cold in Connecticut. My name is Dr. Corey Hoffner. If you're new to the group, thank you so much for joining. If you're watching live, subscribe, right? Comment down below. We're actually going to do an interesting kind of brand new thing that I've never done before. And if it does really well, we tend to benefit from it. A lot of people like it. Then what we'll do is we'll try and do this kind of each week, and we'll kind of do the same exact thing. So what we're going to do is an exercise review of one of my clients, actually going through the exercises. And what I'm going to start with is I'm going to actually show you the muscles that you should be using kind of as you're going through this. So we're going to target kind of the shoulder joint here. So anyone looking who has shoulder impingement, looking to strengthen their shoulders or anything, we're going to look at one of my clients doing the exercises improperly. I'm going to give you real-time feedback for it. And then we're also going to go into kind of how to do it properly. I'm going to show you the video and explain the kind of primary muscles used and the secondary muscles. So you should be able to see my screen. So there's kind of really two big primary muscles you're going to use here. Number one is your serratus anterior. This is kind of a hidden muscle here. And people who are very, very lean, who wear like tank tops and things like that, you can kind of see it, and it kind of spans here under the rib cage area. This muscle helps keep your shoulder blade in the back here, which is right here, against your rib cage, kind of as you lift up and over your head. And if this isn't working, you're not going to be able to fully upwardly rotate your scapula or your shoulder blade, meaning you're going to get some pinching here and some discomfort. So this muscle is weak in usually about 70 to 80% of people who are dealing with shoulder impingement or some kind of pain or pinching in the front of their shoulder. So this is a kind of forgotten muscle that's super important to address. All right, so that's the primary muscle number one. Primary muscle number two is going to be your posterior deltoid. So in this exercise, keep an eye on that. We're going to be working your posterior deltoid as well, because we're going to be getting a little bit of shoulder extension, so getting our shoulders behind our body, as well as shoulder external rotation, meaning we're going to be able to kind of pull our wrists outside of our elbows. And this exercise is going to be really, really good, guys, if you're working on your front squats, because it helps you get into that proper front squat position, where a lot of people struggle to keep their elbows up here, because this muscle's weak or this muscle's weak. And they tend to also struggle because they hold their front squats like this. If you hold your front squat like this, you're going to cause some pinching here eventually. It's going to cause internal rotation of your shoulder. It might take a long time to do, but if you're holding heavy weight and you're always like this, it's definitely going to cause some discomfort. It's going to close the gap in the space between the shoulder bones. So that can lead to pinching. All right, so those are the two main muscles, posterior deltoid and serratus anterior. The third muscle is going to be your external rotator. So it's going to be called your infraspinatus, which is right here. It's kind of tucked away. If we turn around the back here, it's this kind of pinkish one right here. It's a nice big muscle. Take a layer off, you can see a little bit better there. Infraspinatus is one of your main external rotators, and it's one of the more commonly torn tendons as well as the supraspinatus, which is up top here and comes down over the front of the shoulder. So why are we recruiting this? Because you're going to see in this exercise that it's super important to keep our wrists right in line with our elbows, which keeps our shoulder in a little bit of external rotation, shortening this muscle, meaning we're activating it, or to keep your hands outside of your shoulders like this. So that is a secondary muscle we're going to be using. So with that being said, hopefully that makes sense to go over those three first, just to give you some background information. And then what we're going to do next, let me get out of this tab, is we're going to go through the actual exercise and watch my client Liz kind of just go through it. This is our first time doing it. It's a really hard, weird exercise. Everyone, I'd say 90% of people do it wrong the first time they do it, myself included. So we're not going to rag on her or anything, but we're going to show you kind of here watching her do it. So she's in her CrossFit box here doing it against the wall. So big cues here is that her back needs to stay flat against the wall, right? Should not be arched, and her head needs to stay in touch. So her head and her lower back need to be flush against the wall, and her goal is to keep her elbows in as she touches her hands nice and open to the wall. So you'll see, I'm going to play this for you here. All right, so you can see her kind of going through. This is 15 seconds. We'll play it a couple times. Hopefully it's not lagging on my end, but kind of just watch her doing it the first time. Like, it looks really easy, right? You're like, she's just really lifting her hands and touching the wall, and it looks super simple. So her body's making it easier for her, right? That's why. So we're going to play it back again. So this is easy because she's not really doing it properly. Like, her shoulders are moving all over the place. Her arms are coming into this position at the top, which is internal rotation, where instead we want our elbows in and our hands here, right? So that's super important. So a good cue I get people is you want to imagine you have a band around your elbows. It's pulling you inwards and your arms are in an 11 position. You have to stay in an 11 position as you reach your elbows forward towards the camera. So I'm reaching my elbows forward towards my webcam, and then I'm trying to touch my hands to the wall. And it should be like really hard. The more you reach your arms forward, the more you kind of reach your elbow forward this way, the more you're going to engage that serratus anterior muscle. The more you pull your wrists outside of your elbows, the more you're going to engage your infraspinatus and your posterior deltoid like we just went through. So I'm going to show it one more time. Then I'm going to show you like a correct video of one of my mentors doing it, who's also a physical therapist. And if you guys don't follow him on Instagram, definitely give him a follow. His name is Dr. Khaled Burgess. I can kind of link his information down below, but he's awesome. He has almost 1 million followers, and he's helped a lot with me helping my patients online. So we're going to show you this. So he's showing you that you should essentially, let me actually make this bigger so you guys can see it. So kind of weird thing to start off with here. But anyways, he's showing you by lifting his shirt up that you need to keep your back not arched, because most people will do that, which is like an improper kind of way of doing it. You want to keep it flat. So you actually have to tilt your pelvis back and make sure your back's flush against the wall. So again, he's tilting his pelvis back, showing you that he's going to keep his back nice and flat. And then he's going to go into the exercise and kind of show you how it should be done with your head slightly tugged back. And he's just explaining things. We'll kind of go through and fast forward here. So again, head's against the wall, right? You want to keep your elbows in, chin tucked. A lot of talking here. Here we go. Perfect. So let me scroll back a little bit. So hopefully you guys, it's not like lagging behind or anything, but you can see the difference between kind of how he's doing it here and how Liz was doing, right? She was up here with her elbows super far apart. He's in that 11 position doing it. So again, you want to imagine you have a band around your elbows, pulling inwards, back's flat, head's against the wall, and then you're trying to touch the wall with your hands open. And guys, some people, I mean, it's pretty rare, but some people find it really easy. He's showing you the improper way of doing it if your arms go in. If it's really easy, the progression of doing this is instead of doing it with your hands open, you're going to make fists, because that's going to increase the amount of distance and the range of motion you have to travel to actually make contact with the wall. So the big cue here he's explaining is that you don't want to arch your back. You don't want to let your rib cage lift. To keep it locked down, keep your head relaxed, and keep your elbows in, right? The more your wrists go outside of your elbows, the harder it's going to be as you come up. I mean, you can go ahead and try it. It should be like really hard, especially if you have weak external rotators or some type of shoulder issue going on. Or if you really have a hard time getting to that front squat position, the front rack. So really good exercise, guys, to give it a go. I usually give people like 6 to 8 repetitions, maybe 2 or 3 sets tops. And if you're doing it properly, there should be 2 things going on. There should be a lot of burning going on and lactic acid rushing into the area underneath the armpits, kind of right near the lats, and that's your serratus anterior, getting blood flow to it. And then you should have some burning on the outer shoulders here, kind of like right in this area. So if I use my cursor, kind of right in the outer shoulder here and here. Okay, so definitely give this a go. Let me know how it goes. If you've done this before, put it down in the comments below. I'd be really surprised because it's a very rare one that I haven't ever seen done before. But I've used it with almost all my shoulder clients who have impingement or issues, or if they front squat a lot, if they're into CrossFit, they're Olympic weightlifter. Works super well for getting that shoulder nice and strong and working those weak muscles in a nice way without using weight. Right, you can do it from home, which is beautiful. Just need a little bit of empty wall space, right? He's using a couple areas between bookcases here at work, right? Anywhere you can do it would be a go-to. So thank you guys. I know it was a really quick video, but thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions about these muscles we went through, infraspinatus, right? We went through the deltoid, and then we also went through the serratus anterior here on the side. List them down below. I'd be happy to answer them for you. If you're dealing with shoulder pain or impingement or anything, or you're having trouble with overhead mobility, list that down below. I'd be happy to give you some resources to help you. We have some pain guides, some strength PDFs as well. And we're going to be starting a group program starting in January. Super excited. We're looking for 2 more people. We already have 3. And we're going to cap it at 5 people max. So thank you so much for watching. Hit like, subscribe, and we will see you in the next one. Thanks so much, guys. Have a great rest of your night.